Hey there, fantasy owners. LTC Fantasy here. Not sure if you're watching via YouTube or listening via podcast, but really do appreciate the watch or listen no matter how you're streaming the episode. Before we get started, do want to mention we have partnered up with 247clash.com. Link is down in the description there. It's basically a pools type fantasy style game that's pretty much made winnable for anyone. They cover a bunch of different sports: baseball, hockey, football, basketball, golf, etc. It is pretty fun and easy to play, so if you do decide to go to www.247clash.com, at the top of the homepage there is a how to play link at the top there. It's a quick 50-second video that explains the game a little bit better than I can there. And if you do sign up, do use referral code LTC, as that will help us out behind the scenes there. Hopefully you start winning some cash. And do note it is for Canadian residents only at this time. Might change in the future there, but for right now it is for Canadian residents only. So today's our week 25 midweek waiver wire episode / strategy episode, because we're looking at just the remaining 5 days of the fantasy schedule there, and we're going to suggest players to hopefully help strengthen your fantasy roster and help you down the stretch to hopefully secure that championship for you. Some things to note in the final 5 days. Monday there's 10 games, so fairly heavy. Tuesday 10 games, again over half the league playing. Wednesday only 3 games. Thursday heavy, 15 games, so 30 of the 32 teams playing. Friday only 2 games, so 4 teams playing. So out of that there is 2 light nights, but no team plays both light nights there. In the final 5 days, Buffalo has 4 games in the final 5 days, so really heavy for them. So if you can get a decent player out of them, definitely load up early. 3 games in the final 5 days for a number of teams, them being Carolina, Chicago, Colorado, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Minnesota, Nashville, San Jose, Seattle, Toronto, Vancouver, Washington, and Winnipeg there. So a lot of teams with 3 games in the final 5 nights. Basically with that, light nights and games played overall is what's going to help put you over the top and help you secure that championship. So with that, we will cover Buffalo first, excuse me, since they do have the 4 games in the final 5 days. Then we will cover all Wednesday teams, the first light night of the week there. Then cover all Friday teams, because that's another advantage with only a couple games going on. And we'll finish with all remaining teams that also have 3 games this week in the final 5 days. So basically we'll get right into it. Some Buffalo options both on defenseman and forward. Look at Owen Power. He's owned in 47% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, second power play unit. Should mention I am recording this on Thursday night here. Got some plans on Friday with the family being Easter week. But in the last 4 games he had 3 points, but I believe he already has 2 points tonight. So that's even adding up. One of those being on the power play, 5 blocks in there. He can be a bit streaky this year, but with 4 games in the final 5 nights, he should be a fairly solid pickup for you. Up front, maybe look at Casey Middlestad. He's listed as a center, owned in 4% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit, and he has 7 points in the last 5 games. A lot of that had to do with Thompson being out a few games there, but even with that, he did get a point tonight again, got a point in Thompson's return the other night. So in a deeper league, he should be able to bring you some value. Another one from Buffalo is Jack Quinn, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 7% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit, and he has 5 points his last 7 games, and in those 7 games, he has 13 shots on goal and 7 blocks in there. He is a bit streaky, but with a heavy finish here, he should be an okay option for you. Another one's Dylan Cousins, listed as a center, owned in 57% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, top power play unit. Already got a couple of points tonight that aren't included in this, but 6 points his last 7 games, a power play point in there, 19 shots on goal. Overall, he's had a really good season, and he should be a solid streamer for you if he is available. A little bit higher ownership there. Another one from Buffalo, last one here, is JJ Peterka, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit, and he has 8 points his last 10 games, one of those coming on the power play, also 18 shots on goal in there. He's been decent recently here, and he'll be a good option in your deeper leagues. Before we do jump to the next segment, do want to ask, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. Hopefully throughout the season you've been getting some value out of these episodes and we're trying to grow it. If you're listening via podcast, please give us a 5-star review, as that helps promote it and suggest the podcast to other potential listeners there. So now we'll move along to some Wednesday D-men. Out of the Wednesday teams, do remember, San Jose and Dallas do play 3 games in the final 5 days. The rest of these only play 2 games in the final 5 days. So we'll start off in Dallas, 3 games there. Look at Ryan Suter, only owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues, playing third pairing, second power play unit, and he has 7 points his last 12 games. And in those 12 games, also blocked 14 shots, so a nice amount of blocks on there. He's been having an okay amount of offense recently here and could help in some deeper formats for you. Another one on the back end from Dallas is Esa Lindell, owned in 11% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing for the Stars there. He has 3 points the last 4 games with 5 shots on goal and 8 blocks in there. He's not really known for his offense, so don't expect it, but he has been getting a little bit recently. Other Cats are fairly okay, so in some deeper Cats leagues, he might work out for you. From Calgary, started the 2-game teams. Look at Noah Hannafin, owned in 57% of Yahoo leagues, playing top pairing, second power play unit, and he has 8 points his last 12 games. One of those coming on the power play. Also in those 12 games, 25 shots on goal, so shooting the puck a bit here. Also 18 blocks. With him, he's a little bit streaky. He's really overall been a down season for him, but he does have blips there. So he should be an okay ad on a light night if he is available, just with his streakiness there. For Montreal, look at Michael Matheson, owned in 43% of Yahoo leagues, playing top pairing, top power play unit, and he has 11 points his last 12 games. I believe he already has 3 points tonight, though, not included in that. 4 of those points coming on the power play, 37 shots on goal and 21 blocks on there. Really, what can you say about Matheson? In Montreal, he's having a really solid season, and he'll be a very good pickup for you on a light night. For the Islanders, look at Scott Mayfield, only owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues, playing top pairing for the Islanders. He has 5 points his last 8 games, and in there he also has 12 hits and 16 blocks in those 8 games. Another one, he's not a lot of offense out of him, but he has been getting a little bit recently. Value is really in the hits and blocks department there. So in certain formats or a real deep cast league, that's where you're going to get some value out of Mayfield. Moving along to some Wednesday night forwards in the final 5 days here. Do remember, out of these, San Jose and Dallas do have 3 games in the final 5 days, and the rest of these options only have 2 games in the final 5 days. So we'll start off in San Jose. Possibly look at Jacob Peterson, listed as center left winger, available everywhere, 0% owned, but he is playing on the top line and top power play unit in San Jose, and he has points in 4 straight games, couple those coming on the power play, 9 shots on goal in there. He's been good since his last call up here, and he should be an alright streamer in your deeper leagues. Another one from San Jose is Thomas Hertl, listed as a center, owned in 51% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit for the Sharks, and he has 10 points his last 12 games, 5 of those coming on the power play, so a lot of power play production, 33 shots on goal, 19 hits and 9 blocks in those 12 games. What else can you say? He pretty much gives you everything except in plus minus. He'll be a really solid ad for you in a Cats league if he is available. Another one is Logan Couture, listed as a center, owned in 46% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, top power play unit, and he has 13 points in his last 11 games. Really nice point production there. 6 of those coming on the power play. Obviously that top unit is clicking in San Jose right now. 31 shots on goal in those 11 games, 18 hits and 6 blocks. Very similar to Hertl, gives you everything except plus minus there. So really solid ad if available for a Cats league. Going over to Dallas, who also has 3 games, possibly look at Tyler Seguin, listed as center right winger, owned in 44% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, second power play unit, and he has 4 points his last 5 games. The game's still going on. I believe he got a power play assist tonight, so another point on the power play. Only had one written down, but obviously a couple. 12 shots on goal in there. He's been decent since coming back from injury there and could help you down the stretch. Over in Calgary, maybe look at Andrew Mangiapane, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 33% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit, and he has 5 points his last 5 games, plus 3 in those 5 games, has a power play point in there, and also thrown 9 hits. With him, he's up on the top line, and with getting that added opportunity, he's been producing of late here, so he could turn out to be an alright option for you. Another one in Calgary is Michael Backlund, listed as a center, owned in 49% of Yahoo leagues. He's playing second line, but up on the top power play unit. He also has 5 points the last 5 games, also plus 3 power play point in there, and 9 hits in there. He's had a very solid season, Backlund has, and should be a solid option for you. Over in St. Louis, maybe look at Brandon Saad, listed as a left winger, only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues. He's up on the top line, second power play unit, and he has 8 points in the last 6 games. In those 6 games, he's plus 3, also a couple of power play points in there. He's on a nice roll of late, obviously getting bumped up to the top line there, so his usage is better. He can be streaky, but he should work out in some deeper formats. Another one in St. Louis is Kasperi Kapanen, listed as a right winger, owned in 9% of Yahoo leagues. He's playing second line, top power play unit. He's been pointless the last 3 games, but before that he put up 6 points in a 4-game stretch there. So he can be streaky, so with Kapanen there is some risk involved. But do remember, he is in the top 6, he is playing on the top power play unit, so he is an option for your deeper leagues. Another one in St. Louis is Jacob Verana, listed as a left winger, owned in 35% of Yahoo leagues. He's playing second line and up on the top power play unit, and he has 10 points over the last 12 games, so nice run over that stretch there. Plus 6 in those 12 games, couple of power play points, 37 shots on goal, so not afraid to fire the puck there. He's been playing well for a while, as I alluded to there, and should be a solid option for you down the stretch. In Montreal, look at Nick Suzuki, listed as a center, owned in 56% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top line, top power play unit. I had written down he was pointless the last 5 games, but I believe he busted out for at least a couple of points tonight. And before that pointless in 5 stretch, he put up 10 points in 4 games there. He has talent, and as I alluded to, he was snake bit, but he did break out tonight there, so he should be an okay option if he is available for you. Another one in Montreal is probably Jesse Ylonen, listed as a right winger, available everywhere, 0% owned, but he's playing on the top line, second power play unit, and he has 7 points the last 6 games. One of those coming on the power play, also blocked 9 shots in 10 games. That's a lot for a forward. So he's been decent recently there, not a lot of runway, but he'll be an option for your deeper leagues. For the Islanders, maybe look at Kyle Palmieri, listed as a right winger, owned in 9% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, top power play unit, and he has 10 points the last 9 games. So really nice production there. In those 9 games, he's also plus 6, fired 21 pucks on net, also thrown 9 hits. With Palmieri, he is a little streaky, but overall his numbers are fairly decent of late here, so he could work out for you. Now we'll move along to some defensemen that play on Friday. From these, we've already covered Buffalo. All of the rest of these options do have 3 games in the final 5 nights. Start off in Columbus, maybe look at Adam Boquist, owned in 7% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, top power play unit. He has 4 points the last 7 games. 2 of those 4 points did come on the power play, had 20 shots on goal in those 7 games, also thrown 7 hits there. Not known for playing the body, but doing a little bit of late there. He is streaky, but he does have talent, and he does get a lot of opportunity being deployed on the top power play unit, so he could work out in your deeper scoring leagues. Over in Colorado, possibly look at Samuel Girard, owned in 24% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, second power play unit. He only has 2 points the last 4 games, but one of those points did come on the power play. Also has 9 hits and 5 blocks. He has cooled off some, but with Makar out indefinitely right now with a lower body injury there. That should open up even more opportunity for Gerard there. So on a light night, he could help you out in some formats there for sure. Now we'll move along to some forwards that play on Friday. Do remember, Buffalo we've already covered earlier in the episode, and all of these players in this segment do have 3 games in the final 5 days. Start off in Columbus, look at Boone Jenner, listed as a center, owned in 39% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit, and he has 8 points last 12 games, so decent amount of production. A couple of those coming on the power play. Also in those 12 games, he has 34 shots on goal, 24 hits, and 8 blocks. So definitely contributes in other Cats. He's been fairly steady, and he should really help you in a Cats league. Next one in Columbus is Kent Johnson, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 6% of Yahoo leagues. Playing second line, but up on the top power play unit. He has 6 points his last 8 games. A couple of those coming on the power play. He's been decent of late, actually the last little while here, and he does get more opportunity as he is getting more experience and as the season progresses there, so he should be an alright option for you. Another one in Columbus is Jack Roslovic, listed as a center, owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit. He currently has 8 points in a 6-game point streak. Do believe that did get snapped tonight there, not 100% sure, but 3 of those 8 points were on the power play. Also has 14 shots on goal and 6 blocks in that 6-game streak there. He's on a nice roll and should be a decent option for you down the stretch. Over in Nashville, maybe look at Cody Glass, listed as center right winger, only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit, and he has 6 points the last 6 games. 4 of those 6 points coming on the power play, so really nice power play production. Also 16 shots on goal in those 6 games. He's been decent recently, especially on that power play, so he should be able to help you out in some formats there. Another one in Nashville is Thomas Novak, listed as a center, owned in 13% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, top power play unit, and he has 11 points the last 9 games, so really nice there. In those 9 games, he's plus 5. 5 of those points coming on the power play, 16 shots on goal and 6 blocks in those 9 games. He's really has been hot of late there and should be a solid pickup for you down the home stretch here. Over in Colorado, maybe look at JT Compher, listed as center right winger, only owned in 41% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line but up on the top power play unit. He has 7 points in the last 9 games. 4 of those 7 points coming on the power play. Definitely helps when you got McKinnon and Ratton in there on the power play. He's been, with Compher, he's been decent of late, and he should be able to help you out in some formats there. So now we'll move along to some remaining D-men that have 3 games in the final 5 days that we haven't covered yet. Start off in Carolina, look at Brady Skjei, owned in 41% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit, and he has 9 points in the last 12 games. 1 of those points coming on the power play, also 33 shots on goal, so definitely shoots the puck for a D-man there. He's been decent the last while here and should be a good add in your scoring leagues. Another one in Carolina is Jacob Slavin, owned in 25% of Yahoo leagues, playing in the top pairing. He has 3 points the last 4 games, so small sample size, but also has 10 shots on goal in there. With Slavin, it's been quite a streaky season for him. He gives you little blurps and little stretches there, so it definitely is risky, but he might work out for you in your deeper leagues. Over in Chicago, maybe look at Seth Jones, only owned in 53% of Yahoo leagues, playing top pairing, top power play unit for the Hawks. Only 2 points the last 5 games, and in those 5 games he has 5 hits and 6 blocks in there. With Jones, he's been really cold of late. It's been a tough season in Chicago there. Does get you a steady amount of hits and blocks, so could work if you're in a pinch and if he is available. Over in Detroit, maybe look at Jake Wallman, owned in 4% of Yahoo leagues, playing top pairing, second power play unit, and he has 3 points the last 4 games. Do believe he got at least 1 point tonight on Thursday there. Of those points, 1 has been on the power play, 9 blocks in there. With him, he's been a bit hit or miss there, but he's been really decent recently, so he could work in some deeper formats where you need to take a little bigger of a gamble. Over in Minnesota, maybe look at John Klingberg, owned in 39% of Yahoo leagues, playing third pairing top power play unit. Klingberg, he has points in 3 straight, one of those coming on the power play, 9 shots on goal and 3 blocks. Since coming back from injury, he's been on a small roll here, so he should be a decent option for you. Over in Toronto, maybe look at Jake McCabe, owned in 7% of Yahoo leagues, playing third pairing there. He has 4 points the last 8 games, so half point per game. In those 8 games, he's +5, has 17 hits and 12 blocks there. He gives you a bit of offense of late here, and he could work out for you in deeper leagues, especially with those hits and block totals. Over in Washington, maybe look at Rasmus Sandin, only owned in 33% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, second power play unit. He has 8 points in his last 11 games, couple coming on the power play, 14 hits in those 11 games and 14 blocks. He's slowed down the last bit. He only has 1 point in the 5 games played since Carlson's been back there. But he does get opportunity there. Obviously sheltered a bit with Carlson coming back. It's hurt it a bit. But in your deeper leagues, if he is available, there is some potential there. Over in Winnipeg, maybe look at Dylan DeMello, owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top pairing, and he has 4 points the last 6 games, with 6 hits and 9 blocks in those 6 games. He's not known for his offense, but he's getting a little bit of late. Wouldn't really count on it, but in your real deep leagues, with some of the other cats in there, he might work out for you. Another one in Winnipeg's maybe Neil Pionk, owned in 44% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, second power play unit, and he has 4 points the last 7 games. One of those coming on the power play, also thrown 12 hits and 8 blocks in those 7 games. It's been a down year for Pionk, there's no denying that, but he's been okay recently there. He is risky, but might be worth taking a gamble on. Now we'll finish it off with some remaining 3-game forwards. Obviously played 3 games in the final 5 days there. In Carolina, possibly look at Stefan Noesen, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit, and he has 4 points in a 3-game point streak right now, +2 in those 3 games, couple of power play points, also 10 shots on goal. Noesen, he's up in the top 6 here, and he is producing a little bit. So in your deeper leagues, he might be worth taking a chance on. Another one in Carolina is Jesperi Kotkaniemi, listed as center left winger, only owned in 13% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit, has 9 points the last 12 games, so decent amount of offense. One of those points coming on the power play. Also in those 12 games, he has 22 shots on goal, 17 hits and 8 blocks in there. He's been alright of late here, been having a decent last 20 games or so he should be able to help you out in some formats. Over in Chicago, maybe look at Lukas Reichel, listed as center left winger, only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues, but playing on the top line and top power play unit. He has 6 points his last 6 games, and in those 6 games he has 12 shots on goal, 3 blocks in there. The kid's been on a fairly nice roll of late here, and he is getting opportunity as they're seeing what some of their younger prospects could do here, so he might work out if added to your team there. Another one in Chicago is Andreas Antonescu, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit. He has 5 points the last 3 games. One of those points coming on the power play, 11 shots on goal and 3 blocks in there. He's really streaky this season, as you'll find. It's been a rough year in Chicago, but he is on a small roll of late, so in a real deep league, you could get some value out of him. Over in Detroit, maybe look at David Perron, listed as a right winger, owned in 53% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit for the Red Wings there. He has 12 points his last 9 games, so really nice production. In those 9 games, he's also +7. 18 shots on goal, 13 hits and 6 blocks. With Perron, he's on a really solid run right now. He should be a good option for you if he is available. Another one in Detroit is Dominik Kubalik, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 21% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, second power play unit right now, and he has 4 points the last 5 games. And in those 5 games, he's +5, has a point on the power play, also 9 shots on goal in there. He's back up on that top line, and he is producing. At the start of the year, when he's up on that top line, he went on a heck of a tear there. Then he really had a cold stretch, but he is starting to produce back up on the top line, so he should be an all right option for you. Over in Minnesota, maybe look at Ryan Hartman, listed as center right winger, owned in 40% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit, and he has 10 points his last 12 games. 3 of those points coming on the power play there. Also 30 shots on goal, 15 hits, and 9 blocks in those 12 games. He has really decent numbers of late and should be an okay option, especially in a Cats league for you. Another one in Minnesota is Marcus Johansson, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, top power play unit, and he has 12 points his last 12 games. 3 of those points coming on the power play, also 23 shots on goal. In Minnesota, that second line's really been rolling there, and he should be a very, very solid ad for you. Over in Seattle, maybe look at Matty Beniers, listed as a center, owned in 35% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, second power play unit, and he has 4 points the last 4 games. In those 4 games, he's also +2 and has a point on the power play. Beniers has been streaky this year, but when he gets hot, he really gets a bunch of points in bunches there, so he should be a nice ad for you in a scoring league. Another one in Seattle's Jared McCann, listed as center left winger, owned in 62% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit, and he has 11 points his last 10 games. 1 of those coming on the power play. In those 10 games, 38 shots on goal, like just a hair under averaging 4 shots a game, 12 hits and 8 blocks in there. McCann's had a very, very solid season here, and he'll be a great ad if he is available. Another one in Seattle is Oliver Bjorkstrand, listed as a right winger, owned in 10% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line, up on the top power play unit, and he has 7 points last 9 games, so decent amount of production there. A couple of those points were on the power play, also 16 shots on goal and 10 hits in those 9 games. He's been a down year for him, but he's been a lot better recently here, so he should be able to help you out in your deeper scoring leagues. Over in Vancouver, maybe look at Dakota Joshua, listed as center left winger, only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues, up on the top line in Vancouver, and he has 5 points in his last 7 games. 27 hits, definitely throws the body. 27 hits in those 7 games and 4 blocks in there. He's been up on the top line for a little bit here, and with that he is chipping in a few points there, so he could help you out in your real deep leagues. Another one in Vancouver's Brock Besser, listed as a right winger, up to 56% owned, playing second line, top power play unit, and he's put up 7 points his last 6 games. A couple of those coming on the power play, 18 shots on goal and 3 blocks in those 6 games. Besser's been hot and cold this year, but he's hot at the moment there, so if that continues, he'll be a really nice ad if he is available. Over in Washington, maybe look at Dylan Strome, listed as center right winger, owned in 40% of Yahoo leagues, playing top line, top power play unit, and he has 14 points in the last 12 games. It's even hotter if you go further back than that. 5 power play points in those 12 games, 26 shots on goal. Obviously, Strome's loving playing with Ovechkin there right now, and he'll be a very, very solid ad, especially in your scoring leagues. Over in Winnipeg, maybe look at Blake Wheeler, listed as a right winger, owned in 39% of Yahoo leagues. He plays second line, second power play unit for the Jets. And he has 4 points in his last 3 games. In those 3 games, he's +4, 6 shots on goal. He finally snapped a very lengthy cold streak there, but generally speaking, how he started out the first 2/3 of the season, he was very, very good, so he should be an all-right option for you down the stretch. Last one in Winnipeg's Nino Niederreiter, listed as a left winger, owned in 22% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line up on the top power play unit. He has 2 points the last 3 games, and in those 3 games, he's +3, 9 shots on goal, 7 hits, and 2 blocks. He is streaky. Started out, I think it was points in 6 straight with Winnipeg. Then he kind of got cold, only a couple of points over a stretch. Seems to be hopefully getting into a hot streak there. So if you're in a pinch, he could work out for you. That's it for today's episode. Actually, last long episode of the fantasy hockey season. We will continue with our daily shorts going up to the last day of the regular season there. If you do enjoy these episodes, please remember to hit like, hit subscribe, and remember that notification bell if you're watching via YouTube. If you're listening via podcast, please give us a 5-star review, as that helps suggest the podcast to other potential listeners. Don't forget to check out 247clash.com. If you do sign up, use referral code LTC. Hopefully you win some cash. Hockey season's almost over, so not a lot of betting time on the hockey side of things, but MLB's starting, so if you like betting on a little bit of baseball, could work out for you. Also golf on there. Enjoy. Hopefully you pull it out in your championships this week here, fellas, and we'll talk to you in the off season there, fantasy owners.